locked in this box, but we're still a million miles apart.
I'm an extremely private person. You don't even know me.
We'll move on. Because we're honest with each other.
Welcome. Today we're going to be doing a video on a movie called Down from 2019, and it was directed by Daniel Stamm. And also, it's actually a Hulu original. I want to start this off by saying that this movie should not get any like awards or anything. It's like, you know, it's not like a Jordan Peele's Get Out type of movie, but it's a good thriller. Like, I put it on the same level as Unhinged, which was a movie I did before. And, you know, if you need something like cheesy and nothing else to watch, then this is a good movie for that. Down is actually an episode from like an anthology web television series called Into the Dark, and this is its 5th episode. I haven't seen the other episodes and I don't want to. So yeah, don't look forward to that. So this episode was aired on February 1st, 2019, and the runtime is an hour and 18 minutes, but for some reason it felt longer than that. So the movie only had 5 characters in them, and one of them was like a background character. And they're all actors and actresses I'd never heard of before. It stars Natalie Martinez as Jennifer and Matt Lauria as Guy. These two are our main characters of the story. IMDb gives this a 6.4 out of 10, which I think is, you know, I think it's a fair rating. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna win anybody any rewards or anything, but you know, it could be cool. So the description IMDb gives is 2 co-workers find themselves stranded in an elevator over Valentine's Day weekend. That's it. That's the description. But hey, I like ambiguous shit. You know, don't tell us too much about it. Just let us get into the movie. Let's find out for ourselves. And yeah, let's talk about the movie now. So the movie introduces us to Jennifer first, who is one of our main characters. She's in the office late night and she's in there with that other coworker who was one of the 5 characters in the entire movie. What kills me about it is that this coworker, she has no lines and she's just there in the movie for like a minute, and they give her like a whole like, they don't put her down as an extra, they put her down as like an actual character. Like her character name is coworker. So I don't understand. Anyways, Jennifer is actually emailing like a past boyfriend or something. We don't know who it is at this point, but she's trying to email somebody to spend Valentine's Day with, or is going to surprise somebody to spend Valentine's Day with. You can tell she's really nervous about the whole emailing thing, and she ends up not even sending the email and just leaves the office. I keep mentioning the coworker because she's going to open up a plot hole later in the story, and you'll see why. Jennifer walks down to the parking garage and she goes into like the elevator of it to like go down to her level, which is like peak 5. And then this other guy's down there, who's our other main character, whose name is Guy. He comes in the elevator with her and they both go down together. As they go on in the elevator, Guy keeps making like these cheesy jokes that makes you want to commit to sue. They continue on an idle conversation about where they work and what they do in the building that they're in. Guy says that he works in a small accounting firm in the building and he just closed a deal with a client and he gave him a bottle of wine. That's why he has it. Jennifer, on the other hand, she actually works in one of the biggest public relation firms in the entire building. They even say that they have 5 floors dedicated to them. Good for her. As they continue to speak about, you know, the idle conversation that they're having, the elevator just stops out of nowhere. They then spend some time trying to get out of the elevator. They start trying to open the doors, trying to signal somebody on the cameras, but to no avail. Also, throughout this entire time, they were flirting with each other constantly. It was weird. It was very unnatural the way they did it, but it's probably due to the budget and the runtime of the movie. They probably had to like speed things up with their relationship to meet that runtime. I don't know, for me personally, things like moved way too quick, but hey, maybe their chemistry is just that good. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Jen also mentions that she has a flight to catch, what will become relevant later. So they're sitting around playing Pictionary and stuff, right? And before the elevator stopped, Guy actually mentions that he didn't see her around the building that much at often. He said he saw her 1 or 2 times, but now he's actually admitting that he lied about that he's seen her around the building multiple amount of times. It gets to the point where Jennifer actually initiates this conversation about recording on her phone the weirdest places they both had sex. Jen mentions that the weirdest place she's ever had sex was a library, while Guy actually reveals that he's never had sex before. Guy then mentions that he's actually aroused by this conversation. They end up having sex in the elevator. Somebody shoot me. While they're having sex, Guy says that he could love her and that's what makes her stop. And afterwards, she reveals that, you know, the guy she was emailing was her ex-fiance that she wanted to fix a relationship with. Even after they had sex, she still wants to fix that relationship with her ex-fiance, which is crazy work on her part. You had sex with a random dude that you met on a elevator that you got stuck on, and you still want to get back. And that's the craziest shit I've ever heard of. She plays the sex off as being just casual and just a weird fantasy, but you know, Guy doesn't feel the same way. He starts becoming weird and saying that they're connected and that her fiance doesn't deserve her. Guy's whole demeanor changes. He used to be like this funny guy who would tell like these cheesy jokes. Now he's like more stoic and more aggressive towards her. And this is where things get interesting. Guy then reveals that he isn't new to the building, as he previously mentioned, and he isn't an accountant. He's actually the building security, and also that his name isn't Guy. He says that he noticed her way more than a couple times. He even mentions over like 100 times he noticed her in the building, and that he even knows her full name, which is Jennifer Robbins. He also mentions that he's the one who stopped the elevator in the first place, and he has the key to the elevator, which he uses to start back up the elevator, and it turns back on. As the elevator is going up and he was going to let her out, Jenna starts screaming at him and threatens to call the police on him, which was dumb on her part, so he stops the elevator and doesn't want to let her out now. They start doing a little wrestling in the elevator, which ends up breaking the key in order for them to get out. Jen then attacks Guy and knocks him out with one of her heels, and then he gets back up and then slams her head on the floor and then knocks her out. Weird turn of events. She later wakes up and he starts to torment her, and then after that he looks up to the ceiling and he notices something that he didn't notice before, which is that the panels on top of the elevator can actually be pushed out. Jenna convinces Guy to boost her up and that they will stay together when they got out of there, which he was stupid enough to believe. And once she got on top of the elevator, she like gave him the finger, which was another stupid thing that she did. They have to climb up the elevator shaft to get to the elevator door to open it. It's this ladder and some small little steps along the wall you have to walk on to get to the door. She must have really pissed him off because he found a way to get up there and chase her on the elevator shaft, and she got to the top where the doors were and was opening him, and as she almost had it open, he lunges at her and they both fall through the top of the elevator's roof, and they both get knocked out. After that, Jennifer actually got out first, and she actually noticed one of those little water hose things that are triggered by like smoke, and they would like spray water down. I forgot what they're called. So she used a lighter that she had and started a fire and then put it up there to trigger the fire alarm so the fire department can come. John actually then wakes up, and then she goes to tie him up, which she succeeds in doing. As he's tied up, he has like these metal prong things that she goes over to him to act like she's about to go and castrate him, and then the camera cuts to make it seem like she did it, but she didn't really do it. She wanted to threaten him so that he would admit all the things that he'd done to her on camera. She actually even gets him to admit his real name, which is John Deakins. After all this is happening, another security guard comes whose name is Eddie, which is one of the other 5 characters that's in this movie. Eddie actually gets to the elevator where Jennifer and John, as we know him now, is. John actually gets out of his restraints and knocks out Jennifer and then kills Eddie. John puts Jennifer in the trunk of his car and then goes to clean up all the evidence. He cleans up the dead bodies, the blood, the elevator. He puts back on his security guard suit. He then drives her to like this dark alley where there's a dumpster at the end of it, and he plans on, throwing her in there and killing her. As he opens the trunk and turns around and go throw something in there, Jenna actually jumps out of the trunk and hits him over the head with something. She gets in the car and drives off, but then she stops and then drives backwards to try to run John over. John actually jumps into the dumpster to save himself from being ran over, but he ends up getting impaled by a bunch of nails. Jennifer ends up like lighting a cigar, smoking it, and then flicking it into the dumpster and lighting him on fire. The dumpster is engulfed in flames for some reason, like no gasoline in sight, but it kills John, and that's the end of the movie. That's down. So this is the plot hole I mentioned earlier about the co-worker in there. Jennifer left first and the coworker was in there last. Like, she didn't leave when Jen left. So my whole confusion is, did she not know anything that was going down there the whole time? Like, you have to take the parking garage elevator to go down to whatever level you want to go to, right? In the beginning of the movie, Guy was actually, or John, was actually pushing the button on the other elevator and it wasn't working, so they went on the other elevator. So if those are only 2 elevators to go down to the levels to get to your car, how did the co-worker not know that they were in there? Like, where was the co-worker? Like, where did she go? How did she not know any of this was happening? The only explanation I can think of that would make it make sense is if her car was on the P1 floor, which is the first floor, and you didn't need to take the elevator to get to your car. But that would have been mighty convenient if that was the case. Yeah, this movie is, I'll give it the same rating IMDb gave it. It's like a 6.46 to me. It's not like a terrible movie, but it wouldn't be a movie you should go out of your way to watch, in my opinion. Like, if you bored, you want to scroll through Hulu, you want to watch something real quick, go ahead and watch Down. I'm so bad at remembering these actors and actresses. Dude, Natalie Martinez was the wife of Michael Pena in End of the Watch, which is an amazing movie. I might do a video on that at some point. That was actually a really good movie.